Hi there, and welcome to this week's edition of Top End Track Talk. I'm Andrew O'Toole, and today we'll be having a look at this coming Saturday's meeting here in Darwin, which is the first of 3 consecutive December meetings, this one the 7th of December. It is gratifying to see some decent-sized fields this Saturday here in Darwin, and with 11 riders present, we should be in for an excellent day's racing. Indeed, the fields are very even, and coming up with a winner or two is no easy task, but nevertheless, fingers crossed, I'll be able to pinpoint a few for the Track Talk viewers. The first in Darwin is the Ladbrokes Handicap. It's a 0 to 70 event, and it's over 1,600 metres and is the smallest field of the day with just 5 runners. It gets underway at the mid-afternoon time of 3:12 p.m. at Northern Territory time, and in the opener, my numbers are 1, 2, 3 and 5. Arguably the most informed horse in the Territory is number 1, Skeldak. He's trained by Emma Steele. He's won 2 of his last 3 and was beaten a lip in the other one. Paul Shires continues his association with the horse. He's won twice on him recently, and his last win here was on Melbourne Cup Day over this trip of 1,600 metres, and he was far too strong on that occasion for Rocheville. He's won 3 times at the trip from 11 starts, and I think in this small field he'll be winning again. Number 1 on top for me, ahead of number 2, Making the Grade from the Gary Clark stable, and Kim Gladwin takes the mount here. Making the Grades had 2 runs back this campaign. His best trip is undoubtedly this trip of 1,600 metres, and I think with those 2 races under his belt to fit him for this, he'll be very competitive. In for third, number 3, Wicked Promise, Jared Todd for Phil Cole, another one with an undeniable chance here. Third last time out behind More Chili. That was on the 26th of October, and my 4th selection, number 5, La Bosse. 1, 2, 3 and 5 in the opener. The second's the Designer Kitchens Handicap. It's for the 0 to 58 gallopers. It's our 1,200 metre race on the day. Numbers here 2, 7, 1 and 11. It could be in for a pretty good day, I think, senior rider Paul Shires. He takes the mount here on number 2, Mr Boom Jangles, on whom he won here last time out, the 23rd of November. That was at 1,200 metres. This is 1,200. I was a little bit up in the air last time whether it might be on the short side for him, but Gary Lafoe Jr., who trains the horse, did a really good job keeping the horse on the fresh side. He will have done the same over the last fortnight to keep him in a fresh state for the same trip again, and that win last time out, beating Liberty's Torch, was really good, and I think can go on with the job. 2 on top for me, ahead of number 7, Whitworth from the Kerry Petrick stable, Paul Denton in the saddle. Kerry's had a really frustrating run of seconds with her runners in recent times, and Whitworth, first up after a good break, finished 3rd here at the 23rd of November meeting. That was over 1,100. The step up to the 1,200 won't hurt, although he hasn't won at this trip. He's probably better over a mile, but I think that run under his belt, he'll be right in the party. And for third, number 1, Carmen Aaron, the stablemate of my top selection, Mr Boom Jangles. Dan Morgan, the Alice Springs apprentice, travels up from the Red Centre for this weekend's meeting. He takes the mount, and a good third last time out in stronger grade, in 0 to 64 grade behind Delta Dior. Dropping down in grade, I think he'll be very competitive, and my 4th selection over the page is number 11, and that is Real Royale. 2, 7, 1 and 11 in the second. The third is the Bridge Toyota Handicap. It's over the 1,100 metres. It's our highest grade race of the day. It's the Benchmark 76, and a really good 7-horse field assembled here. 3, 1, 2 and 7 for me. I'm going here with the last start winner, So Stoic, trained by Chris Pollard, and Barry Huppets goes back on. You might recall Bonnie Polisi, the WA apprentice, rode last time out, and the horse was really impressive. That was over 1,000 metres here on the 16th of November. Out to the 1,100 shouldn't be an issue. His record, 8 starts, 2 wins, 2 seconds and a third at this trip, and I think carrying the same weight as he carried last time out, I think he can win again. 3 on top for me, ahead of number 1, Backslap, the class act in the race. He's resuming from a good spell. His last start was here in the Palmerston Sprint back on the 3rd of August. 2 starts prior to that, he'd won the Rowan Cup over 1,300 metres. First up at 1,100, I reckon he can be very competitive, and Paul Shires takes the mount here for Tayan Holter. In for third, number 2, Brooklyn, the ever consistent Brooklyn. Nathan Day, the visiting Queensland rider, comes and takes the mount here for his mate Carl Spry. And I think Brooklyn judged on that last start second to the captain on Melbourne Cup Day. That was in the Weight for Age event. He will be very tough to beat. That was 1,200. He's probably better suited at this trip of 11. And my 4th selection, the last start winner, number 7, War Face. 3, 1, 2 and 7 in the third. The 4th is the 10 Darwin Maiden. Trobus race for the non-winners. It's over the 1,000 metres. Numbers here 3, 7, 6 and 5. He's got to win a race soon, number 3, Liberty's Torch. He's been knocking on the door. He's had, would you believe, 9 seconds and 5/3. Kerry Petrick puts the polish on. He was run down last start by Mr. Boom Jangles, beaten only half a length. That was 1200. I think the 1,000 metres is the key to Liberty's Torch. Paul Denton knows him well, takes the mount, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that he can get the chocolates for his very patient band of owners. 3 on top for me. Ahead of number 7, a newcomer to the Carl Spry stable, Speedy Com, formerly trained in Queensland by Toby and Trent Edmonds, and prior to that by Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott. It brings some interesting Queensland form here. He ran 2nd at Ipswich back in July and then 5th at the Sunshine Coast at his last start on the 27th of September. Nathan Day aboard. I think he'll give a really good sight. In for 3rd, number 6, Kalmar. 2 seconds this campaign, getting close to a win. Kim Gladwin for Gary Clark, and my 4th selection, number 5, Poleni. 3, 7, 6 and 5 in race 4. And in the last, it's the Women in Thoroughbred Racing NT Handicap. I think the girls are having their Christmas party here on Saturday, so they'll be out in force. And we always know when they're on track because you can hear them a long way away, especially when they've got a runner in. My numbers in their race, which is the 1,000 metre 0 to 64, 1, 2, 3 and 9. He was a good winner last time out, Delta Dior. He's been a really good horse over the years for Pat Johnson. Ray Viger continues his remarkable association with this horse. Would you believe Raymond's ridden him 6 times for 6 wins? He rode him as a 3-year-old and had 5 wins consecutively, and then hadn't ridden the horse for an age, and then he came back here at his last start on the 23rd of November. Raymond in the saddle again, home he rolled. So looking for 7 out of 7. He'll take a lot of beating. Got a bit of weight to carry, 60.5, but he's a class act. 1 on top for me. Ahead of 2, Dancers Kin. Barry Huppert's for David Bates. Down in grade from his last start, 8th behind So Stoic. That was a 0 to 70, back to the 0 to 64 grade. Because he won during the carnival, this horse, Dancer's Kin. He's only a little fellow, but he has ability and he'll race well, I believe, on Saturday. And for 3rd, number 3, Hatton Man. Very consistent for Tayan Holter. Paul Shires could be in for a good day, as we mentioned earlier. And Hatton Man's last start, 2nd to So Stoic, was really good. He's down in grade as well. And in for 4th, number 9, No Alibi, a last start winner from the Gary Clark stable. 1, 2, 3 and 9 in the last. Best bet of the day comes up in the first, number 1, Skeldak. I think you'll get the punters off on the right foot. He won't be at any flash odds, I don't believe. But race 1, number 1, Skeldak, best bet of the day. Well, the best roughie comes up in race 2, and it's from the same stable, that of Emma Steele. Number 12, Tradici. Race 2, number 12, Tradici. The $50 Garrett's Horse and Hound, a voucher for our last meeting here in Darwin on the 23rd of November, goes the way of Big Pat Johnston, who sent out his stable star Delta Dior for his 10th win from some 39 career starts. Pat's done an excellent job with the son of Master of Design over the years, and I'm sure he'll waste little time in making a beeline for David Bates and the team at Garrett's Horse and Hound and Winnelli to redeem that $50 voucher. So well done, Pat. In our next Top End Track Talk segment, jockeys will be in line for their $50 voucher, and of course that will apply to this coming Saturday's meeting here, the 7th of December. Well, that wraps up this edition of Top End Track Talk, but we'll be back again next week in advance of our second meeting in December. That's, of course, the 14th of December. And in the meantime, good luck and good punting.